What's up, Wargamers? Welcome back to World of Wargaming. I'm Isaiah. Today, we're starting in on something new. We're going to be jumping into the Catacombs of Kural, which is the solo co-op supplement for Relicblade. It's kind of a pocket game size, which we'll take a look at all that stuff in a few minutes. We're going to be playing the very first of the Catacomb scenarios today, which is where the Catacomb games always start, which is the prologue. So let's go talk a little bit about the rules and how this version of the game differs from the regular version of the game. Set up a board and let's get into this game of Catacombs of Kural. Alright, so to get this game of Relicblade Catacombs of Kural going, first things we're going to need are the Relicblade Seeker's Handbook, core rules, or you just need to know the book really well. Maybe you have rules mastery over the game, and if you do, congratulations, I'm so proud of you. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm very serious. I'm very proud of you because it's hard to do that for a game. And you need the Catacombs of Kural supplement. This is what most of our looking at right now to get started is going to be happening. But we need this on hand for special rules, in case I forget the order of combat, all that good stuff. We start off in the Catacombs section of the book, which is on page 37. And first thing that we need to know is that during the course of this campaign, we can use each of the Fate Weave actions. That's these 6 things: Diverge, Glance, Inspire, Aid, Restore, and Quicken. We can use each of these one time each during the course of the campaign. Now, if someone dies and is just lost or whatever, left behind, dead, however you want to put it, we can pick one of these that has been used, and then we can then be able to use it again. So if you're going to be stretching your game out, your campaign out over a few sessions, I suggest maybe taking this card and putting it into a card sleeve. That way you can take a dry or wet erase marker and just tick off the ones that you've used, just to aid with bookkeeping. It's most likely what I'm going to end up doing. The next thing we need is the character deck. Now the character deck is at a minimum 8 cards. It must have 4 advocates and 4 adversaries, and that's mainly because this supplement is meant to be played with the Storms of Kural 2-player starter set. So they give you the core box set that's your head-to-head modes, and then you get the supplement that's solo co-op. And then, but you can also then throw in any additional characters that you just have in your collection. I have the base components of this 2-player starter box, so those are the 8 cards that I'm going to be having. You then have a character draft where you shuffle that deck up and you draw 4 cards. So let's draft a team. So when I've played this by myself, I've just drawn the card, like I've just kind of shuffled everything up and then looked away, like looked at the ceiling and threw cards at the table. But I can't do that and hold a camera. So to make sure we have full randomization so you know there's no shenaniganry afoot, I'm going to roll D8, and I'm just going to go down the line from left to right. So first draft, 6. The Gnome Grenadier. 2, the Destroyer Pig. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, the Warden of Justice. And 2 is already gone, so we roll again. 3, the Slayer Squid. I like that it shuffles up. So the overall campaign is it's technically 4 scenarios. There's a prologue and then 3 dungeon rooms that you explore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this group right here to its completion. Hopefully I at least get to the last room, so we at least get to see it. And then with the other group that's over here, I will play through the other 3 scenarios or dungeon rooms. So we've assembled our party of people that have fallen through down into the catacombs from the surface during the storms. And then we assemble, we're not playing multiplayer decks, so we don't need to talk about that. Then we assemble the upgrade deck, which is 3 keyword-specific upgrades, 3 universal upgrades, and then any additional upgrades. I am using the deck of upgrade cards that came with the starter set, minus the ones that are specific to things that I don't have. And then that's what I have. And also minus what comes next, which is the encounter deck. So these items, the Noxious Bomb, the Magic Lantern, the Blade Oil, the Gauntlets, the Vial, and the Quicksilver Bangles, these are how you determine which scenario you play. So they do not go into the upgrade deck. Lord, they don't go into the upgrade deck. Scenario action, as per the usual, is a 5-up that you can focus on. Room setup will be dictated by the scenario, and you can buy terrain. Blacksite Studios sells a really awesome, really, I think, fairly priced kit for this game that has all the different room sizes that you can need. But the book also gives you instructions and dimensions to build them yourself. I will be going with the route of, I have a lot of the street tiles for Carnivale from TT Combat that just so happen to be in the exact right dimensions. The only thing that mine aren't is that some of the dimensions call for a platform that's 2 inches thick, in which case I will probably just be stacking 2 of them on top of each other. Your deployment will be marked with the green circle on the map. Enemies will be marked with the red circles. And the encroaching horde happens on turns the end of round 3, 5, and 7. I believe the end of round. At the end of the 3rd, 5th, and 7th recovery phase, reinforcements arrive and are set up at player deployment. However, a maximum of 2 lizard hounds, 2 clan warriors, and 1 iron breaker are allowed to be in play at once. If the max is in play, deploy one of the other types at random instead. And this is, I don't know why, but this just didn't click in my brain. So I asked a question in the Facebook group. Sean was kind enough to answer it for me. So Sean, if you see this, thank you very much, because my brain just wasn't clicking on it. I couldn't put 2 and 2 together. Treasures, common treasures are health potion, healing herbs, magic rings, and raven brooches. And if one of those is present, it'll be on the deployment map. Rare treasures, when you go to pick up that treasure, you can roll a dice. And on a 1 through 4, you just get the regular treasure. But on a 5 or 6, you can draw and equip a card from the upgrade deck. Victory cons will be when everybody gets out of the room. When a scenario ends, if any characters escaped, then any disabled characters within 2 inches of the exit also escape. And that 2 inches of the exit matters, and we'll talk about why once we're into the game, because there are a few things that are maybe a little bit different than a regular game of Relicblade. It's been a little while since I played Relicblade, so it's coming back quickly, and I've played several games of this, so it's just sometimes a little fuzzy. Oh, you get the rules soup going. Y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you survive, all surviving characters recover 1 health, and you get 1 random upgrade card from the upgrade deck. You draw 1 upgrade from the deck and equip it to an eligible character, take a short rest action, then draw a card from the encounter deck to proceed in the dark. There is no post-game phase. You do not earn valor for destroying enemies, and enemies do not drop treasures when destroyed. And at that point, I'd like to just take a second and look how cool this piece of art is, and then B, go ahead and jump forward and take a look at the scenario. So we always start with the prologue, the crash down collaborators. And it shows us our room, which is an 8x8 that's 2 inches tall with a 4x4 that's 2 inches tall. So let's get that on the table. There we go, and that's our board. And I love the small kind of pocket game size of this. The only other game that I've ever played with a footprint this small or smaller, actually probably smaller than this, is the Rusty Dagger from Rob Salters. It's a real fun little kind of zine game. So next thing we need is some scatter terrain. There we go. That's a little bit better. Next step is we're going to deploy our team. So in this particular scenario, the deployment is the very middle, as we can see here. However, it is a scatter deployment. So what we're going to do there is we're going to use my preferred method of determining a random direction, which is to roll a d10, and then that's the direction the point is the way you move. And then we are going to roll a d6 to determine how far they move. So we'll start with Slayer Squid. So we're going to come in 5 inches this way, ending right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the rest, and I'll show you where everybody lands. And this is where everybody has landed. I can get rid of that. I don't need that anymore. That was to mark the center of the board. Next, we're going to spawn some bad guys. So the enemy spawn points are this corner, and pretty much right in front of the door. there are 3 enemies, 2 lizard hounds, and a clan warrior. And I'm going to randomize. So really, I guess it just matters for the clan warrior since he's the only one who's not the same. So we're going to randomize which one of those spots he goes in. 3, so that would be 1, 2, 3. So he'll be in front of the door. We'll have a lizard hound in this corner, and we'll have a lizard hound in this corner. And at that point, we're ready to game. So, in the game, it goes hero phase, enemy phase, recovery phase. However, there is a twist to that. So when you elect to activate one of your models, you must roll a d6. I got a 4. And then you must consult the chart for the whatever scenario, in this case the Crashdown Collaborators activation chart. So I got a 4. 3 or 4 is a predicament. 1 random monster triggers and the exit locks. So we got 3 monsters. We're going to randomize which one of them is going to do stuff. 1. I counted the objectives up, so we'll count that up. And it will, because it is not engaged, it will get 2 bonus action dice to charge the nearest character, which would be my Grenadier. So he charges, and he makes his attack. Getting a 6, which will hit. So he rolls his damage. Getting a 5 plus 2, and I get my defense roll. Ooh, and I get a 6 plus 1. So 7 to 7, no damage. Way to go, Grenadier. Then I can continue on with my activation. I didn't really say who I was going to activate, so we're going to say that I'm activating War Pig, because I completely forgot to declare who I was activating. I just got caught up in the activation chart. So then War Pig can go ahead and complete his movement. So he is going to... He's got 3 action dice. Now in the first round, if you activate within an inch of an enemy or engaged with an enemy, which I think is actually a ½ inch, then you are at -1 action dice. However, he's not in that situation. So he's gonna focus and then charge. It's 2 action dice, but however, I get a free attack when I finish charge. I'm gonna use the War Tusk. 3 hits. Roll my damage. 3 plus 3 is 6. They get a 4 plus 2. They're 2. Oh no, 1 armor. 4 plus their 1 armor, which is 5. So they'll take 1 damage there. 1 more action for which I will use my focus token on. And should have used it for the damage, but whatever. I have a reroll for that too. So that'll hit. Either one of those will hit, and we'll roll the damage. I'm going to use his Destructive Presence to re-roll that damage die. Same thing. So we got a 7 for the damage. They're going to defend. Get a 3 plus 1, 4. That's 3 damage. That's enough to down that lizard hound. And then he's done. We'll go to my next activation, which I'm going to declare properly this time, and it's going to be Squid right here. So we'll see what he gets for his activation chart. A 5 is ready for action. He can just do his thing. He's got 5 action dice. He wants to get a dodge token because that's the way he gets down. He's got a move of 3. I'm going to use the little widget, which is enough to get me to within a ½ inch. So that's dodge. That's 2 actions. And we're going to swing with the... Now we're going to focus, and then we're going to swing with the dagger. That'll hit. We'll roll a damage dice. 5 plus 2 is a 7. Ooh, and the lizard dog fails the roll miserably. Getting a 1 plus their armor of 1, so that's a down lizard. Okay, so leaving Squid with 2 remaining actions. So he's gonna move this way. Pause. Hold. Bear with me for a moment. There's a magic ring that it was supposed to go here during the setup at the table, and I just got caught up in picking out scatter terrain and forgot about it. But it's there. You can enter. You get to action to pick it up, just like any other thing that you pick up. Bringing me to my next activation, which will be the Warden of Justice. He gets a 5. He's ready for action. Let's go. This is just to let y'all know, this is not how it happened when I played by myself. It is not. So he's got a movement of 3, and he's going to go try to get this clan warrior. So he's going to take one move, and then a second move will charge him in, where he will swing with his sacred blade. That is a miss. We'll swing the second time. That's a hit. Roll a damage dice. 4 plus damage 3 on the weapon. Against the bad guys. Spiked it. Wait, 7. 7, yes, spiked it. My last action will be with my Gnome Grenadier. Let's check her activation chart. A 5, y'all. I'm not making this up. This is why whew, man, thank you, camera, for proving that things can work out sometimes. You know what? So, the Lizard Hounds have a recovery bonus, so they stand back up on 5s. So what I'm thinking is maybe I want to take a shot at one of them and kind of remove. That's a 1 in 3 chance of it standing back up. So we're going to take a shot at this one and miss. Just oh wait. I'm within 3 inches of him, so I can re-roll an attack. There we go. That hits. We roll a damage dice. That's a 4 total against the... Oh, they don't roll defense dice. They don't roll defense dice. They just die. If you're disabled, you don't roll defense dice. So that was successful. Okay, plan worked. We're going to go with... Got 2 actions left. We're going to move... 3 right up to the gibbet. That does it for my ragtag group of survivors. So we go to the clan warrior. So that engaged clan warrior will attack my warden with its hand weapon. It needed a 3, so it hits. Or no, it needed a 4, so it hits, but it rolled a 5. Gets a 1 plus 3 is 4 on their damage roll. I get a 3 plus my defense of 2, a little shield icon. And so I block all that damage. Ha! That's what you get for swinging at a paladin of justice, sir. A warden of justice, sir. A holy knight in service of all things good. We then proceed to the recovery phase, where this disabled reptile will try to stand up. It does not, and if a monster fails a recovery save, it is just removed. It's just gone. So that brings it to turn 2, my activation. So we're going to start with the paladin. Do his activation chart. A 2. Okay, so I'm glad that this happened, because now I can explain a mechanic. So if when you roll on that activation chart, you don't like the roll, you can opt to use your focus action, like preemptively, kind of. Say you're doing it's called a cautious advance, and you can re-roll that dice. However, you cannot use focus again, and you don't count as having. It's basically like you're rolling the second dice after the fact. So a 4 is way better. That's going to be an enemy trigger. It's just an enemy triggers and the door locks, which is far better than a 2, which would have spawned a new monster in one of these random spawn locations. Which brings us to his activation, where he now has 3 actions, because again he counts as having used focus already. So he's going to swing with his Sacred Blade. That's a miss. And he's going to swing again. That's a hit. We're going to go to a damage roll. 5 plus 3, that's an 8. That's a pretty good roll. And they get a 3. So that will absolutely just one-shot down that fellow. And that was... I have 1 activation left. Because of the focus, miss, hit, slayed. Yes, 1 activation left. Where I'm just going to move to the door. And kind of to the side of the door, kind of clear the way a little bit. Next, we'll go to Squid. Activation roll. 5, he's ready for action. So we're going to pick up that magic ring. It is a single-use magic ring, as if you can use it as a dodge token. Single use. So then we go to the rest of his stuff. So he's got 4 actions left. And he can move 3. So how far am I from the door? I can get to the door with 2 movements, leaving me with 2 actions left. I will focus, and then I will try to use the scenario action to open that door. Nailed it. So the door is unlocked. However, I don't have an action to move through it. And I'm standing right in front of it. Like a doofus. We'll go with Pig. See what he gets for his activation. 6, he's ready for action. Boy, they came to play. And he's got to move a 4. So we can go... Six, and then 2 more. Let's go. And then I guess we'll go. Well, I have 1 action left. That was 2 movements. So I have 1 action left. So I'm going to try to kill this downed model right here. I miss with my War Tusk. So we'll go to the gnome, who will focus and then fire her gun. Hits and damages. So that's a dead clan warrior. And then I guess she'll move in just a little bit to right there. And there are no enemies. So no enemy phase. And there's nothing to recover. And so we go to turn 3. Now at the end of this turn, there is potential for the horde can encroach, and there may be more stuff coming. But we'll see what happens. We'll start with Squidman, because he's standing in front of the door. 4. There is nothing to trigger. However, the exit does relock itself. There's no enemy to trigger those, but I've got all my actions. So we'll focus, and then we'll try to unlock the door again. Which I do. There's my 5. So I've got 3 actions left. I'm going to walk through the door. So Squid has made it through the prologue. We'll go to the gnome, who gets a 4. Yeah, fine. That's better than an enemy spawning. So I'll stick with it. The door does lock again, though. So I'll move. It's 1 action. I'll focus. I'll try to unlock the door, which I do. And then with my last action, I will walk through the door. We'll go to the Destroyer Pig, who is just ready for action. He will charge through the door. And then finally the Paladin, who had to wait to be the last out of the room because of honor and goodness, gets a 3, which is a predicament. The door locks. Okay. So I'm within a ½ inch of the door, so we'll focus. And... Okay. Okay, so he's going to be stuck on the board by himself for a minute, because I can only try it once. So no monster phase, no recovery phase. However, we will have an encroach. 2 lizard hounds in random spawns. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. 1. come on, be right there. Yes! Yes, everything's going my way. Right there. And we'll go then to turn 4. All right, so let's see how he does with his activation roll. That's not great. We're going to use our cautious advance there. That's 4, so we'll get an enemy trigger. So it gets 2 action dice to move. It can move 6. It's only going to need 1. Well, I guess we need to see which one. We need to randomize which one activates. So 1, even, odd. Odd. That figures. That's balance from the dice god. So he'll move in and take a swing at me. He hits with the gore. Roll a damage roll. Getting a 5. That's not my dice. I should have kept it. Getting a 3 total. So I'll take 2 there. Now I have 3 activations. We will swing our Sacred Blade. We'll miss with our Sacred Blade. We'll swing it again. That one hits. We'll roll a damage roll. 3 plus 3 is not bad. If they roll poorly, they did not. They rolled a 5 to my 6, so they'll take 1 damage there. And with my last action, I will try to gain some inner peace, which I do not do. So that'll take us to the enemy phase, where the enemy engaged with me will attack me. It'll hit me. It'll hit me really hard. 5 plus 2. I tie it. Nope, I take 1, which will cripple. Second will charge into me. Hits. Not too great on the damage roll. That works. So it comes to me. Nope. It goes to recovery phase. Goes to turn 5 during the recovery phase, obviously. So we'll go my activation roll. 5, I'm good. That's really good for me. So I'm going to focus, and I'm going to go for inner peace. We're good. Through those with 1 action, which I'm going to use to try to smite one of these stupid lizard dogs. Hits, damage roll. Pretty hefty damage roll. That's an 8 for me to a 4. A 3 for them. So that dragon dog is down. These things are huge. I have some like wolf models that I could have used, but these are cool. And I made them kind of, and I think they're fitting. So anyways, that's it for me. We'll go to the lizard dog, which will attack me and hit. We'll do a damage roll. It's a really good damage roll. I get a 5. So I'm right back down to the 3 damage that I had. But I'm not dead. So I'll take it. Recovery phase. We'll see if that one stands up. It does not. So it is just gone. Okay. Will come to me. My activation roll turn. Oh wait, into turn 5 we get 2 clan warriors. Don't want to forget that. Because of the encroaching horde. So we'll go D3, 1, right there, and D3, 1 right there. Okay, so we'll go with try to activate Warden of Justice, turn 6. We'll use our reroll. Yes, so I only have 2 actions here. So we're going to swing at Lizard Dog. Hits. Damage roll. 3, 6. Potentially 3, 4. They take 2. And we're going to try to finish off the Devil Dog. Hits. Ooh, yeah, that's 5. Yeah, I only needed to do 1 damage. So he's disabled. Then we'll go to the enemy phase where that thing can swing at me. Hope it misses. It does not miss. And he gets a good roll. But I take 1 damage. We'll see recovery phase. Lizard does not stand up, so it's gone. It's turn 6, so there's no encroaching horde. So going into turn 7, this is my best chance. This is my best chance. I need a good activation roll here, though. We're going to use the thing. It's not as bad as I thought it was, but it's not great. So that clan warrior will trigger and attack me. And hit. Getting a 6. I get a 5. That is enough. So I will go down. Now, did it say the enemy will not attack a wounded character? I make a recovery roll. I do not stand up. Now, normally, I would be able to crawl 2 inches when I failed my recovery roll. I didn't, so I'm pretty sure at that point the scenario would end. However, because I'm disabled and I'm within 2 inches of the door, I go through automatically. Like I count as making it through, but I would have 1 health. Yes, at the end of the scenario, if anyone escaped, if there are disabled characters within 2 inches of the exit, then they also escape. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is no real post-game to this. You get a short rest action, which I'm absolutely going to be taking the one to heal to get 3 damage off of my warden. 2 health. It was 3 total, though, because 1 for... I was at nothing. I stood up with 1. And then I heal 1 for the scenario ending, like for the end of the scenario. And then I heal 2 from tending wounds. So I would have, that's 4 total. I was at 1, heal 3. I'll have 1 wound on me going into the next scenario. I'm pretty sure I did that right. And that's it. At that point, we would draw a card, go to the next scenario. For today, however, that's going to do it for our first prologue entry into the Catacombs of Kural. Thanks so much for tuning in, hanging out while we rolled some dice, worked our way through this first little scenario of this kind of solo co-op pocket game version of Relicblade that I'm thus far very, very fond of. This is great fun. It's good strategy. It's good moments. You know, when the activation roll, that puts a lot of stress and that creates a lot of anxiety. Which, as I've said many times, especially in a solo game, that dice roll anxiety is an important factor. So thank you so much. I'm starting to ramble. Thank you so much for tuning in, hanging out, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of your day. And as always, I'd like to say a big, huge, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to our patrons who support us and pledge to us over on Patreon. You guys are the absolute best. If you enjoyed the content you saw here today and that's something that you would like to consider doing to help out the channel, go over there, check out the link in the description, check out the Patreon. There's a lot of cool stuff over there, including access to our Discord server, talk to me, hang out with me, talk about our work, what we got going on in the hobby, some shout outs, all kinds of cool stuff. Check it out if that's something that you think you would be into. And regardless of whether or not you do that, I want you to know that I am incredibly grateful that you decided to stop by and spend part of your day with me today, rolling dice and pushing toy soldiers around. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and as always, may the dice be ever in your favor.